Hello viewers, I've been asked to make a couple of videos of some box fans that I have, so this is the first in that series. This is my Lasko 3733 box fan. Now you may be wondering why I would make a video of such a cheap common fan as a Lasko 3733, and the reason being is quite simple. This is not the typical Lasko 3733 which you'll find at your local Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, or whatever other cheap big box store that there is today. This is in fact the original Lasko 3733, which came out, I believe, in either 1999 or 2000. While it does possess a lot of the typical cheap features that even the modern versions have, such as handles that break and feet that fall off and a ridiculously thin cabinet, which puts the grill about half a millimeter from the blade set, there is one thing about this fan which is not overly cheap, and that is the motor. As you can see here, this actually utilizes a full-size box fan motor, unlike the typical fans of today, which have motors about the size of what you would find in a half-decent desk fan. So that having been said, I will put the feet on here. There's 3 of these fans in the family. These were purchased by my grandmother back when they first came out. Like I said, it was either 1999 or 2000. Here on the box, you will see it says copyright of 2000 down here. That obviously does not indicate that it necessarily came out in 2000, but probably sometime right around there. You also see here on the box, this is new blade design, and I believe this was only present on the first year they made these fans. Of the 3 fans that were purchased back in 1999 or 2000, all 3 of them are still running to this day. However, this is the only surviving one which has a handle, which I did break it at one point, but I've since fixed it. It does work now. It's probably stronger than it was before. And this is also the only fan which has its remaining 2 feet. Of course, these feet are broken, so they don't stay on, but they do work to do their intended purpose, which is to keep the fan from falling over at higher speeds. So I'll put them in here, and you'll see just by picking the fan up and putting it down a few times, they just kind of come off, which is very annoying. So put this back in here, and I will get out my analyzer here, and then I'll turn this thing on. Alright, and we're back. Here I have it plugged up into my electrical analyzing device. Right now we're going to be testing it at 122.9 volts. Switch this over to, we'll do amps, and let's get started. I'm going to run on low first, so I'll switch it to low now. And the other thing that's different about this unit over the modern ones is the switch. This is the older style switch, and the newer ones, this looks a little bit different, and this part rotates. This design is obviously much better. So here it is on low. Now these things have a very distinct startup sound, which is odd for something that is kind of cheap, but nonetheless it has it. I don't know if this will show up on the video or not, but one thing I can't stand about these fans is the high-pitched whizzing sound that the blades make. Sounds very similar to that of what you would hear on a line trimmer. Come around here and let's read what the amperage draw is here. We are drawing 1.15 amps on low, which is probably more than what most modern box fan motors are rated at for even high. And it is in fact moving a breeze. It's a very gentle breeze, but it is moving a reasonable breeze. And despite the fact that the noise it's making is annoying, it is rather quiet. I will now turn it up to medium. Now the speeds on this fan have very abrupt steps to them. You'll notice probably audibly that medium is significantly louder than low, and it's also significantly more powerful. And we're drawing 1.48 amps on medium, 1.47. I'm not sure what this is actually rated at for power draw. I'll have to take a look at it. I know it's written on the bottom. And I'll turn it up to high. High is obnoxiously loud. Well, I have to say, it is moving a pretty good breeze. Something's rattling a bit. That's probably just some part of the grill. I don't know. Can't tell where it is, but... I'll blow this over. Let's check the amps here. It's drawn 2.03 amps. Now I'm going to switch it off. I haven't used or oiled this in quite a while, so I don't know what the spin down time will be like. I guess it'll be pretty good. Okay, let me take a look at the tag on the bottom here to see what the amperage rating is. Okay, here's the information on the bottom. It's actually rated for 2.2 amps, so it's drawing under spec. This is 1201. I'm not sure, maybe that's a date code for December of 01. That would seem quite late. I don't think that's a date code. There's also this number here, which is 013021, and that's the only thing that's on the bottom. This does have holes for a stand. I don't know if the modern versions of that have it or not. Quite frankly, I don't care because I will never be buying one. Let's see. Alright, I'm going to do the startup sound of this fan because each speed has a very distinct startup sound. So I will start on low. And here's medium. I don't know if you can hear that in the video, but it's making kind of a strange harmonizing sound. And lastly, high. The startup sound on low is definitely the most pronounced. Now I'm going to set this over here, and I'll show you the different sides of the box. What I forgot to mention before is that the box I have is also the only remaining box for the fans we have that were purchased. Okay, so here's the front. Here's the back, which I think is pretty much the same. Well, I guess it's not. It has a carrying handle on this side. Here's the side. And the other side. And there's something on the bottom. And here's the top. I don't think there's anything. Unfortunately, I don't think any of the instruction manuals have survived, which is kind of odd. My grandfather holds on to everything. This was in fact the box for his model, but he gave it to me since actually this is his fan as well. I gave him the one that I had because the one that I had, the handle broke and feet were missing, but they never used it on anything other than low, so it didn't really matter if it had feet. And then he gave me the box because the box that I had got tossed out at some point. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know what happened to the manual. That's unlike him to get rid of it. Maybe he still has it somewhere. I don't know. Anyways, just for interesting information, this GE 5-wing here was also his fan, and he saved the manual from that thing since he bought it back in the 70s. But anyways, I'll make that another video for that fan. So, here's the Lasko 3733. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.